Now I have to admit, I have spent a couple of days messing around with my own laser, and it's a ridiculous thing really. When I took my laser out, I should have marked it. I should have stuck a sticker on it or written on it. I mean, I put a green O on it there now, so that it was identifiable as the original GD-ROM unit that was in my machine. And the bottom line is I didn't do that, and then I mistook it for one of the other units and started to adjust it, and then they're like, hang on a minute, that was mine, and now I don't know what the original resistance was. And I'll be honest, it was set wildly different than any of the other units I've got, and this has again never been tinkered with. The two different laser types that I've seen in the models I've got here in this short series, one of them is sort of varies from, let's say, 400 ohms right up to about a K, roughly. This one at the moment is set to 1.6K, I think, and actually I'm finding that I need to increase it rather than reduce it. So the situation I've got here is the laser on this I think is exceptional, and what happens when it warms up, you start to get a problem where it freezes loading. And there's a few thoughts. One of them was power supplies related, and that's the same with all of these GD-ROM units, that if you get one that's working and you're testing it for a period of time and then suddenly starts glitching out and you power cycle it, it's not working suddenly, reseat the connector here just a little bit and then retry it, and it usually springs back to life instantly. So these are a pain in the backside, this connector here. I've made the point that when it does it again next time, and it's not freezing now, I'm going to measure the voltages here just to see if the issue I've got is the fact the laser has warmed up and doesn't need as much voltage as it's currently set to, because that's the issue I've got with this. I'm having to give it less voltage, less voltage, less voltage, and I seem to have found a sweet spot now where it's been on for about 10 minutes, it's gone round and round and round the demo, and it's not frozen at any point. But what was happening, like I say, it would freeze, it'd go round a couple of times and then freeze loading. On one occasion or two occasions it was this power thing here, you just reseat it and then it'd be alright. And on the other occasions it is a case of the laser voltage is too high still. So we're at 1.6 here now on this one. And I think the other thing I'm going to do in a minute is take this power supply out and try and find a way of cleaning or retensioning the connectors on the actual power side. The pins, it's easier to clean, the ones that come through the motherboard. But the the captive connector there that's got little spade type things, they're like that, aren't they? Little bent things like that to make a connection on the pins. Those I think I need to somehow clean the surface off, but it seems pretty solid. So you've got to make sure the power supply is good. And this is another thing, in a future video I'm going to come back and replace this power supply with a Dream PSU, one of the little, it's like a mini or micro ATX type thing, where you have, like, I don't know, 12 volts sitting on the back, and then the voltage is just generated via some PWM, and you don't get all the heat generated from the power supply. So that was the final thing with this. When I get the lid back on, again, it usually runs for maybe 10 or 20 minutes, then it starts doing this loading thing again, and I'm like, oh my god, what is it with this Dreamcast? Is it because I adjusted that and it's not in calibration anymore? Or is it the power supply? Or is something overheating, etc.? So yeah, I think ultimately if you've got a Dreamcast, you want to get a different PSU in there. You want to make sure these connections are super flipping clean. And if you use an original GD-ROM drive, just take into account everything that I've covered in this video really. Anyway, it seems solid now. It's gone round about, I don't know, half a dozen times, maybe a dozen times through the demo. It's really annoying on disc 2 of this, it's so dark. I mean, it really is hard to see, it's so dark. It's supposed to be dark though. I mean, you can see there, that's not dark. It's just the actual, level layout. Some of the rooms you go into are really dark areas. I'm looking at Dream Shell here. I've just upgraded. Now I was on version 4 before, and the version number has not changed, but it has gone through some changes. So I think there's like a release candidate 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got the version that was released in 24. Hang on, why is that now not booting? Right, trying that a second time. Yeah, it was the power supply again. I need to clean up those power supply connectors, I think. So how does Dream Shell work? Well, there are a few different devices you can get. I got one of these, it's just like a USB reader for an SD card. I've only got 16 gig in there. I will upgrade that, perhaps for the next video, with a 64 gig, I think. And you just plug it into the back. It's been modified in such a way that the original serial port that was on these, it's a precursor to USB, really. It's probably the same thing, just in a different, there you go, different physical format. So you need a modified thing like that to be able to plug it in. But if I now stick Dreamshell in there, you could write the ISO. It's the 2024 version, Dreamshell 4. Switch it on, and then hopefully that'll boot. Yep, there we go. And we can access that SD card, and then you can run bits of homebrew or versions of games that have been written, because you can write ISOs and stuff to that. Not all of them are compatible. It depends on how they access the GD-ROM drive thing. Maybe the libraries or SDK or whatever that was used originally. So there's some variations. Some things work from using the ISO loader here from SD card, and other things don't. You can do all sorts. You can flash the BIOS, Dream, File Manager, GD-Ripper. Speed test, that's if you've got the broadband module, presumably, or network, network connected. Oh, network there looks same for that, presumably. VMU manager, that's quite handy. And I use this, that VMU manager there to back up my saves from the card here, whatever you call it, I forget the name of the flipping thing now, VMU, to the SD card, so that I've got, a non-volatile backup. Because when the battery goes flat in those VMUs, you lose your saves. I really need a Dreamcast mouse. I think that's one of the few things I don't have. I've got a Dreamcast keyboard. Yeah, there we go. Oh god, is it SD? Yes, it is. So we're looking at the SD card here now, and we've got ISO. So a bunch of things there, mostly homebrew. Let's try Metal Slug 2. I'm not sure if that's working or not. What does that mean? Just press the X button. Has it just rebooted it? I think that may have crashed. Let's try now. I think you press A to select run. A. Yeah, there we go. So it's loading the Neo for Or emulator, which has been ported to this. And then it's automatically loading the ROM image. This merged with that ISO. So I mean, not the quickest at loading that, but there you go. We're into the Neo Geo on a Dreamcast. Super cool. Let's try and skip the intro. No music. So maybe there are some limitations with the version of the emulator I'm using here. Oh, right, Crazy Taxi 2 has worked. So let's do, hang on, 60 hours. It's weird, some of the issues you run into with Dreamshell. And again, like I say, I'm not sure whether it's because the ISOs are older versions or something. Select a memory card. Okay. Yeah, so I expect some slowdowns. Certainly on video.
We're back! It's Crazy Taxi 2!
Cool. Yeah, music may get copyrighted here, so let's start.
Crazy Taxi 2!
Taxi 2! Yeah, so you get the odd stutter, the odd little bit of delay loading. Not sure what this is going on up here. I'm using component, Composo at the moment, not component. Maybe, and it might be because I've switched into 60 Hz and this TV's not really liking it. It's alright there, look. So that's not bad, is it? Considering it's on SD card. know where I'm going. I don't know how to play this. I've never played it. Hang on. It feels a bit Carmageddon to me. Yeah, so I've got a customer. Yeah, so definitely some slowdowns that wouldn't normally appear, I think, when you're playing on an actual GD-ROM. It's a bit distracting when it pauses every so many frames like that. That's interesting. What is it? I don't know. If crash or freeze, gone on it. So yeah, your mileage obviously varies with Dream Shell. Yeah, I think that's just not working. After ages there, I heard it go as if the drive suddenly slowed down to a stop, and well, it's not doing anything. Power it off. I'm going to deal with this power supply because it's cheesing me off no end. Let's just carefully flip this up, over, try not to break my wires, unscrew the 2 screws that hold the PSU in. Just going to switch it on and off. Sometimes doing that can just help discharge capacitors, not always, and often there'll be bleed resistors and things in there, but yeah, you could get a shock off this. And that cap may still be charged up, so don't take any chances. Going to carefully now lift the board on this side here. That's it. Up. I suspect it's the 12 volt rail that's occasionally not making a good connection, if I'm honest. I'll disconnect the thing here as well. That's it. There's the power supply. It's this damn thing here. These. I need to somehow maybe micro adjust them so that they fit further down towards the contacts. I mean, trying to clean them is impossible, isn't it? I'm just looking at that plastic piece is fitted. It just fits over them, but you see, they might be crimped into it. You might be able to pull that off. I'll report back in a minute. Right, so I've brought Kavanos cam down here. Let's just see. I don't know how that thing is attached to the board. It doesn't seem to go through the board. I'm guessing it just fits over these. You might be able to lift it up. But you see, looking at this here, that looks like it's clipped in, doesn't it? Looks like you've got a little raised bit that stops this from coming off. Having said that, going upwards it should be alright. I don't know. Let's just see if we, if we can get a little bit of leverage. Does anything happen? Hang on, let's get that little flat blade, it's a bit better. Just because it's flat, I'm not going to prise too hard here. Just want to see, will it come up? And I think the answer is no. I think they're in a little channel, aren't they? I don't think you can get those out. I mean, they look okay. The thing is with these though, is it's the surface area of the point of contact. As it goes in down there, it's at a slant. This is the darn problem with these. I mean, how would you clean that? That's the thing. You certainly don't want to wedge anything in there because you'll make it worse. I mean, what you could do is just retension them marginally by coming in like that there maybe. But you see, if you push this too far away from there, then you kind of lose some of the tension. So I don't know, I'm kind of reluctant to do what I'm doing. The worst case is I just have to replace it with something. I'm going to focus on these ones down here because I think one of these is not making a good connection. Like the 12 volt, which is on the end here, I think, isn't it? I mean, I can get some deoxit in there. That's something I can do. I've tried spraying it with contact cleaner a number of times this, and it makes very little difference. I think my approach here, rather than just blob tons and tons and tons of deoxit, is going to be to get some deoxit on a screwdriver like this, and hang on, Try and do that. Look, it's gone on the side. That's not where I wanted it. It's easier than just, you know, putting tons and tons in, because I don't know whether it's conductive, and I'd hate for there to be some sort of short between a couple of rails here. This has got to be the strangest way that I've ever applied deoxit. And I'm not even sure whether that even resulted in any going in. Yeah, it looks a bit moist down there. So maybe this is the best approach. And 5 volts is on this end, isn't it? I forget whether it's 5 volt 3.3. In fact, this is there 5, and that one's 3.3. And of course, the other obvious thing here. Oh God, it's gone on the stupid connector again. Yeah, and the other obvious thing here is recapping of the GD-ROM drive, because you know what, that might be something to do with it as well. But when it stops reading, it's always this power connector. I always wiggle it just slightly, that's it, and it starts instantly working again. Up until that point, I'll you know, reseat the disc, nothing, just doesn't read discs at all, and I'm like, oh my God, the drive's died again. And it isn't the drive, it is just about power. But you see, the point that's been happening, I've tried measuring on here and everything seems alright, but often as I'm measuring the pin and the voltage looks alright, I power it off and on and then it's alright, and it's probably me touching the pin with the probe which has, you know, reinstated the connection, if you see what I mean. Anyway, let's give that another try. Yeah, tip for you, don't leave discs in the tray when you're taking it to pieces. You get the back in first. It's got like a little recessed edge here, so yeah, back in first into its little gap, and then making sure I've not got my wires trapped here. Push it down, that's it. I would go up and down a couple of times like that, and hang on, set that back down there, connect that back up, and that's it. And then just try these 2 screws back in. Be interested to see if that makes any difference. It's been recapped this before, it's got brand new-ish Panasonic capacitors. You know, I mean, these were replaced right at the start of my channel. I think it was the first video on my channel, actually. Over 10 years ago. It shows how long I've been on YouTube. It was a crazy video, that. It went on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I just showed every single thing to do with the Dreamcast in that one video. And here we are, over 10 years later. I've always been pleased with this Dreamcast though, you know, because it was a pretty good pickup. It didn't have very much wrong with it. It wouldn't start, and it was the fan here that kept shutting it down, shutting it down. And it's because it's got a little RPM sensor. Electron actually pointed that out, that he's had a few like that with that fault. And it's because it shuts down the SH2s, I think, and some other custom on there, if, you know, you've not got the RPM detected. And then the laser on this one has always been, in my honest opinion, like a factory one where it's had no use at all. Up until I messed it up when I adjusted it in the other video. Anyway, I'm sure it's back as it should be now. It's just this thing about the power. And that power thing has caught me out before now. You saw the video where I re-looked at that power thing recently, actually, and the battery as well, because both those things needed dealing with. Just after I got the steering wheel working, there'll be a video link top right to that. Right, let's switch that on. Close that. Is that spinning? I'm not sure it's even looking at the disc now. It's not, it's silent. What's going on here? Now it is. I think I need some contact cleaner in that, in the motor, because I'm wondering if the motor's eventually given up. That's not power issue though, is it? I don't think. So, maybe this GD-ROM unit isn't as healthy as I'm thinking. No, it's not booted again. What is going on with this? This is what drives me nuts about this. Let's just take that disc out again. And it's like I say, you can literally just lift this here like that and put it back down, and then it's usually alright. If it does that again now, I'm going to be extremely suspicious. Or is it just a case of it's because it's been powered off for a minute? But like, how would that make any sense? Yeah, I think what's going on here, I've got the laser under voltaged at the moment, so until it warms up a bit, and this is the thing, as it warms up, your laser voltage can just gradually climb just a tiny little bit, and then it'll start reading, you know, burn discs like this. So that's the issue. I could just make the laser, you know, a bit higher, and then it will read it, but then it will climb up a little bit as well. So it's like, but I'd rather just leave it so it needs to be warmed up before burn discs work. That'll just extend its life. I'd rather that was the case, because it was struggling to read that disc. I put an original, you know, Code Veronica back in, and it worked straight away. And then the same issue was happening with the burnt disc, and I left it for a minute, and then now it's working. So I think that this was an ISO converted to work with Dreamshow. You'd imagine this is not going to hit the SD very much, is it? Apart from just the loading the actual game. Oh wow, so you've got all the Pac-Mans, Galaga, Galaxy in pole position, Dig Dug. It's got to be Dig Dug, hasn't it? Wow, instant load that. Insert credits. Nailed it on credits there, that's cool. He's still doing the credit noise. So I'm not sure if this is like an emulation thing or what, or whether they did a complete rewrite for the Dreamcast. I'm guessing emulation. Ah, I'm not going to catch him, am I? Oh, you git. Yay. Anyway, that's working, isn't it? Yeah. Gotta learn from that mistake this time. I'm going up top first, I think. Hang on, he's going diagonal. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. I was like, should I wait on the right side? Should I wait on the left side? I wonder if you can get back to the menu for this game. Yeah, you can. Quick game. Yeah, so, I mean, like games like this work really, really well from the SD card there. Let's try Galaga. Again, instant. Just added a few credits. I am playing by composite at the moment, by the way, so if it looks a bit shimmery, that's why. I've got a VGA cable for this somewhere. Right, let's try something else. Drive me nuts this, it's turned into repair. See this, look, it's not working. I just tried bending these pens slightly, and if I press here somewhere, look. So I actually think these pins are the issue, and I think we've got a bad connection at the motherboard side, so I need to take everything out of this now. So annoying. This is all because of this intermittent drive issue. This has been driving me nuts. And always when you'd reseat this here, just flex it slightly, it would start working again. Making me think there's something wrong with the laser when there isn't. So yeah, it's been a while since I've been inside one of these, and I've got all my mods here, so I'm going to be careful I don't trap a wire. It's going to be fun, to say the least, trying to get everything to go back in alright. I can ESR check the caps and things on the motherboard while we're at it. And this is where you've got to be careful about screw length. So when you take screws out of a Dreamcast motherboard, be mindful of the length of them. That's quite a long one. If you put a too long a screw through the shield in the right place, or the wrong place rather, you will, yeah, that's a long one, you'll screw into one of the chips, I think, or certainly an area of the PCB. You know, these are all the same length so far. And I'm not even sure whether I accidentally put the wrong screw in somewhere on this board or not. I may have done. I may have had to try and do a fix, I don't know. I just hope we haven't got like a crack in an internal layer here. Yeah, these are all sort of the same length so far. I think it's the drive screws you've got to be careful of. Right, that's the board out. Let's just try and just have a look under here. And you know, I'm not seeing anything obvious here at all. I think I'm just going to resolder these power points here. Maybe this bad connection on one side or the other, you know, because obviously it could be on the top side, we can't really see. I mean, I could try and remove the shield. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to just re-solder here and then reassemble it and try it again. I'm going slightly higher on the iron temperature here. I hope this is the issue. I hope it's not like a crack on an internal layer at this point. It could be. See, when this came to me, the front of the case was slightly smashed. I can show you that in a minute. Right, just going to inspect those and reflow if needed. Yeah, they're looking alright, to be honest. So, just inspecting all the wires and things on this. Yeah, I'm not seeing any issues there. So, I'm going to carefully proceed, I think, to try and get this. Hang on. This was routed out there, wasn't it? Yeah, so like if I just have an inspection on there, make sure nothing's pierced. Yeah, nothing's pierced there. You can see the way I routed those there. Yeah, just pointing you up slightly there. So I need to just now carefully try and, hang on, route that way so that doesn't get pressed into there. Yeah, I can see one potential problem here that maybe I never thought of when I did this mod, is the screw mount here is very close to that wire. Yeah, so like this here is very close to that screw mount for the ground. You know when you do a mod and you think, I never want to go back in this again? This was one of these mods where I had that exact thought. Yeah, so I'm doing slightly different route this time with this wire. I'm not putting it coming out under here. It's, you know, it's routed that way around like that, I think. And yeah, we'll just see how we get on with that. Hopefully nothing here is trapped. And I'll proceed to get all the screws back in again. Right, I've got most of the screws back in. I've got one here that dropped on the floor I need to go find. One more to hold the power supply in. I'm not going to put the GD-ROM drive in, let's just get power. Let's see if it powers on. And it doesn't. It does when I press there. What is going on? Driving me nuts, this. Right, hunting all around this for bad solder joints, and it took me a while. And I think I found one. Where is it now? There. You see that? It's a ring around that. Interestingly, it's right in the middle of the power supply. It's like right under here. It's one of the points there. It's that cap. Is that a startup cap? It probably isn't. It's probably a safety or bypassing or something. I don't know, but it seems that's the only bad solder point. You can see it's. Let me try and move it. Well, it's got a crack all the way around. It's got to be that. I don't know. It's doing my head in this Dreamcast. What started off was as an accidental adjustment of the CD unit has ended up with the CD unit being super unreliable, despite the fact the laser is seemingly really good on it. You know, resistance wise, it's got very high resistance and it reads so well. But then it's this issue with the power supply where you run it for 10 or 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at most, and then it starts glitching out and it stops reading entirely. Maybe we've got the odd dry joint around here. I'm going to do that one as well. If I can see it. Where is it? That doesn't look so clever. I was thinking one of these SMD things, but I don't know, they look alright, don't they? Got a ring around that top one there on that transformer. Let's do that one as well. Again, I'm sure that's not the issue. It's not cracked enough. It's just a ring. Bit of a ring there on that one as well. I may as well just redo all of these. Let's just redo them all. I can't imagine that's the issue, to be honest. Secondary side of the transformer. Again, it's got a kind of ring round it. So, you know what, I'm gonna redo these as well. Transformers get hot, maybe we're getting some slight resistance or something there. It seemed to be on the main side though, because there was just no voltages whatsoever. I was thinking it was the main switch to start with, and I checked that, I checked its cable. The obvious thing is a Pico PSU. I was thinking about getting one of those in the next video anyway. So ultimately this is going to come out. Which is one reason I'm not even going to bother cleaning the flux up as I work around this, because ultimately I think I'm going to replace it. You can see where the caps were replaced there. Yes, I mean there's lots of flux and stuff around this, but well, I'm not seeing any of the bad solder points. I'll give it another check off camera and we'll try it. Right, let's try that. I've got this feeling it's not going to make any difference. There we go. It's driving me nuts, this. Watch this. Hang on. I don't know what is going on. Must be something at motherboard side. But the thing is, if it was a motherboard side, why have we got no voltages here? This is the thing that's now switched on. This is what I'm not following at all. And if I measure the connections here, nothing. I don't know what's going on. Switch it off. Make sure we don't have a short. 5 volts. Got a low resistance on 3.3. 133 ohms. I'm not sure if that's right or not. 12 volts. High resistance. So the only thing I'm not sure about is we've got 133 ohms on 3.3 volt rail. I can't see that being the issue. Yeah, so inspecting around here. What's this? This looks like chard or something. I never noticed it until now. I heated just gently around here. Is that glue that's gone weird on top of it? Or is it flux or... What? What is that? It almost looks like it's got solder on it. Have we got a toasted cap there? Because it's marked C something there, look. I don't know, it's really weird, this, some of the issues I've started having with this. That looks charred to me, you know. I've got no chance of working out what that was or is. I mean, look at it, why is it grey? It just looks like a piece of solder, or it's got solder on it. Look at it. That is really weird, isn't it? It was just heating some of these smaller components, these ones up here, that I went, hang on a minute, what's that? So when you've got that much flux on here, you can look at something like that and go, oh, it's just a bit of flux. Maybe it's a cap, maybe it's intermittently shorting, or something like that, I don't know. Well, it's not shorting. It doesn't look right though, does it? It really does not look right. I don't know, I can't make my mind up what to think about that. Maybe it is a capacitor, maybe it just got a bit damaged, maybe it's got nothing to do with the fault, this is the thing, I don't know, I could be clutching at straws here. It just looks weird on top. I just gently... It's like a lump here, and then a gap there, and then a lump here. And you can see it's not normal, there's nothing normal about that cap at all. So I've got no idea what's going on here. I'd say I had an awful day today. I just went into my flu vaccine. I don't usually do vaccines, but I've had that many illnesses this year. Yeah, look at these here. These look awful. These are the opto-isolator. Can you see that? They look terrible, don't they? I mean, it's soldered. Yeah. Anyway, so this charred up. It melted. C008. Can't find any service manual for this at all, this revision. Everything else is cleaned up okay here. You can see I've used the IPA and the whole board here, cleaned the whole thing up. And that's when it became evident that these are pretty toasted. So I'm going to untoast those and hopefully renew the solder points on them. I've ordered another power supply of the same model. See that little pop? Yeah, I think that had gone bad. You know, the solder had just dried up. Yeah, I've ordered another power supply of the same model in order that I can get my cap meter and test that capacitor. I hope it's the same model. It looks like it from the top. And I know what you're thinking, that's a waste of money. It's like 20 quid. What I should have done, and my finger's stinging with the IPA. What I should have done is just ordered a new, you know, like DC type one of these ones with, oh my god, my finger really hurts. My finger here, I just cut this on the car, on my wife's car. I went out to the doctors for that vaccine, and her air blowers aren't working, and I'm like, oh my god, we only had it serviced like a week ago or something and paid quite a bit of money. And here we are with the air blowers now not working. So of course I spent half an hour out there checking fuses, following wires, getting nowhere with it, and then eventually I thought, let's check the motor itself, because there's probably a connector for it. Went underneath on the driver's side and found the connector swinging in the breeze. No wonder the air blower wasn't working. And I plugged it back in with a definitive click. Yeah, and there's no way you could pull it out. So yeah, I had to ring the garage and cancel the appointment for the week after next, because I'd fixed it. And he said, oh, how did you fix it? And I said, I just reconnected the connector that your guys didn't reconnect properly. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry about that. That'll be when we replace the air filter. I actually smell a rat. You know, this is me being cynical. It's just the way I've always found things in life, that whenever I get things done, or my family has things done, people try and take the mick and try and get additional work by leaving connectors flapping in the breeze, you know, just gently connected, holding on for its dear life. You go over a few bumps and the connector comes undone. There's too much of that going on in this world. It's like That's it, that's the last time I got to that garage. We're now going to find another garage. It's like, I just don't get it. I don't get why people do that. It destroys your reputation. It just leaves a bad feeling. And yeah, the way to succeed in life is always be as open and honest and as genuine as you can. I mean, granted, it could have been an actual mistake. If it was a mistake, though, it's ridiculous. It doesn't take much practice, you know, to make sure you can connect things up properly and make sure they stay connected. And trust me, there's nothing wrong with that connector on the car. It's like, now I've reconnected it, there's no way it would ever fall back off. Anyway, those are renewed, so I need to wait for the other power supply now in order that I can measure that component there. And I'm guessing it's something like a polymer or something, you know, not really polymer, what do you call it, polyester or something, because it melted so easy with hot air. It can't have been mounted with hot air from factory, I don't know, unless that had failed. Maybe that was the fault all along. Maybe this was the fault all along of it not starting up, I don't know. In any case, when the other one arrives, I'm going to measure it in circuit, I think, and then get some low melt point solder on each side, just try and briefly heat it to get it off without destroying the other one. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to destroy the other one. I'm going to have 2 power supplies with that cap missing. I hope not. And everything else on here, looks good now. Got rid of all of the flux. There's the odd little bit that's, I talked about this before, it gets welded on there, so I will give it another clean before we come to test it. Anyway, I'm waiting for that other power supply now. I can't do anything until that arrives. All the other solder points look alright. Well, that's a bit questionable there, isn't it? Yeah, there are a few like this as I go around this where I'm like, maybe that is a dry joint. Maybe that is a dry joint. It looks like one, doesn't it? It didn't when there was flux on there, though. That is for sure. The flux really masks things. Yeah, so I'll clean that up again in a sec. Yeah, and those legs on that thing there, maybe that's not really connected, you know. Maybe there are a few issues with this one, I don't know. I really should just add flux here rather than solder. But, yeah, well, why not? Just quickly reflow those. That's it, you could see the heat pass through to that side. So maybe that was a bad solder point. I don't know, there's another one of those up here. It looks alright, but again, why not? I hope it's not the Dreamcast board, you know, it could be the actual motherboard that's the fault here. Because we're putting pressure on the power connector, and it was after I did something to the power connector, just like trying to bend it one way or the other, just slightly, that it suddenly started doing all this stuff. So the power supply may have nothing wrong with it. Well, other than the fact we've now melted a cap. But I don't know, it's just a very strange one. Ever since the drive started playing up on this, everything's just gone a bit weird. Yeah, I'll toothbrush around that in a bit. And we've got a bit of solder there to remove off that as well. There we go. I'll just inspect with the magnification again. Yeah, and a wee bit risky in that I've not got 5 volts or 12 volts. I'm just testing with 3.3 from the Agilent bench power supply from Ian Scott Johnson. I want to see, does the power LED come on? So I've set it to 2 amp limit. Switching it off, hang on. Yeah, you can see we get a power LED. So you know what? I'm not going to worry too much anymore. I think the motherboard is alright. You know, one of the things I did is I bent this connector here, yeah? And then I came to connect this back up, and then suddenly it was not doing anything. It was completely dead, and I was thinking, oh my god, have I damaged the motherboard down here somewhere? I don't think I have. I think it is a case of, it's still a bit dirty this, I think it is a case of some dirty, bad connections, you know, certainly on the Opto here, 1 or 2 other places as well. There could be a fault on this, but I think that component we need to replace there maybe is the thing that had failed, I don't know. Right, thanks to Palmer, he's measured it, and it's showing 23 nanofarads, roughly 23.6 or something. I think it's got to be a 22. So I found a one here. I don't know whether it's, I don't know what type it is, but it is 22 nanofarad. I don't know about voltage or anything here. I've ordered some 200 volt ones, SMD. It might be a bit big for this space, then again it might not, I don't know. But in the meantime I thought, let's try and bodge this on. It's going to be quite difficult because, well, it's going to be overhanging, isn't it? I can short something really badly here. So I think what I'm going to do is just raise it up like this and then isolate underneath it. So just make sure that's not short into anything, and it's not. And then I'm going to get a small ESD bag. Yeah, something like that. Put that underneath it. Yeah, just flatten that like that. And I'm going to put this on. Hang on. Oh god. It's all very precarious, this, isn't it? On the bench like this. I can reach the power supply lead over here. That's for the switch, that is. So obviously it's not connected to the Dreamcast. That's switched off. Carefully just try and plug this in. Hopefully still with me. Switch it on. Switch it off. Right, so it didn't boom or anything. What I'm not sure about is this still going to be dead? Because so far it's just been dead. So I'm going to measure the 3.3 volt rail here, switch it on. Yeah, it's not doing anything. This is what I don't get. I'm wondering if there's like an enable on this power supply here. I thought it's like 12 volts, and then it's ground. Let's just check. We know 12 volts at the end there, so this is ground. Yeah, that's the ground. That's the ground. Got no short to 5, none to 3.3, and none to 12. So this is the mystery now, that now we've replaced that component, we've got the original fault here whereby it doesn't seem to work unless you flex the board. So I don't know, we haven't fixed it, have we? We haven't fixed it. So you can see the meter there, let's just switch it on. I know the switch is alright, so I don't get this. Let's look at 12, hang on. Let's look at 12. I am not understanding this at all. Right, so surprisingly, the issue is this here, this connector here. And it took me ages to work this out. If I measure 3.3, try and show you, yeah, so you can see that, switch it on, nothing. Watch, just gently move the mains lead here, hang on, 3.4, and again if I measure the 5 volts next to it, you can see we've got 507 there, measure the 12, something burning up, or is that plastic moving? Yeah, we've got 12 volts. So, switch it off. It would appear to be this. That's so ridiculous. It's like, how would that be a problem? I don't know. Please explain. I'll switch it back on again. So after all of that, it would seem like it's this here. I mean, I'll be honest, it does feel a bit loose. It feels a bit... That bit's alright. It's a bit sloppy though, when it goes on and off. So those need cleaning up. This needs cleaning up. It must have been arcing or something here. Unless the wire's damaged. I don't know, it's really weird, isn't it? The wire doesn't look damaged. Yeah, really struggling to get those connections out of that cable there, you know, the hood. I'm just going to reflow these, because you know what, it could be a bad solder point here. They look alright, but the problem is the square. When you get square pins, sometimes, well, it can kind of look like there's not an issue when there actually is. Anyway, we've reflowed them. Let me try now isolating with that thing again. Yeah, and the cap we've got on there at the moment, I don't even know whether it's the right voltage rating. It might not be. Yeah, see that we're getting nothing again. I assume you can see the meter there. And if I just gently press here, hang on. You can hear it arc then, 340 volts now. That's right, 3.4 volts. So, yeah, we've got bad power connector. That's got to be a rare one. I can't imagine lots of people have had problems with that power connector there. Hooray! I managed to get that out using a jeweler's screwdriver here. So let's carefully pull that one out. I'll see if I can show you what I did. It's a case of putting it in. It's a flat blade, this. Squeeze it in, it's not moving, and then twist this left, right, left, right. That's how it's coming. There we go. Oh, wow, that was hard. Yeah, so I didn't do too bad there. Widened the hole here just a tiny bit, but anyway. Both of those are out. So you can see the issue here. The square, yeah? And they get widened the more times you take this off and on. Granted, they were never designed to be taken off and on. And ultimately there's a spade in the middle that goes, you know, that gets pressed down as the centerpiece, you know, goes over the spade, so it goes like that. Yeah, but this whole thing's encapsulated in the square tube. You can call it a tube. Isn't it tubes round? Anyway, so I think what I need to do is from the rear push out the spade. Hang on, if I can see what I'm doing. Let me go onto the microscope. The crazy thing is, this is just not what I expected to be doing. So I thought the power supply was dead, and then when I was putting pressure there to try and get it working, I thought, oh no, it's the motherboard rather than the power supply. Yeah, so I think I need to come in down here. Let's just have a look under there. Oh my god, it's really hard to see what's what here. Yeah, and I think we need to, maybe not, I don't know now. It's weird, but you can see the issue here. You know, the spade, the fork thing comes down here like this, look at that. It goes like that. So ultimately it's that's oxidised, but I mean, how do you correct that? I don't know, I was thinking, let's say they've pushed in from the other side. Pushing from there, but it's got a mysterious shape to it this way around. Yeah, this is what I did on the motherboard side on those connectors, well, on the power supply bit, I think. Just come in on the slowest speed and you know, just push in like that. It's equivalent of using the fiberglass pen. Any oxidisation hopefully will clean off that way. Is that any better? Yeah, I think it is. I do see, you know, some discoloration in the middle there, which is ultimately the point where it makes the connection. But what I really want to try and do is tighten these up somewhat if I can. Well, it's looking a lot cleaner. Granted, it is still a bit tarnished there, look. Right, that's better. So it's just a question now, can we make them any more springier? I mean, what you might be able to do is sort of come in like this down here and sort of press to the right marginally, even lever slightly, do the same on the opposite side. Just try and get it a bit more springy. Like that, I don't know. It could end up micro adjusting it so that it's more, you know, to a point rather than on a flat surface, if you see what I mean. If you had more twist on one side than the other, I just don't know. I don't know if that's going to do it or not. Yeah, the thing I have just noticed that we can do here, if I can just get some focus again, is they are square, and I'm like, how can we make them tighter? Well, look, there's a split here. So, in theory, you could, you know, just marginally press here. Hang on, oh, I can't even see what I'm doing here. Like that, a little bit. But then you could also just come in at this angle here. Hang on. And squeeze the independent sides. See that? See how much that's moving? Just turn a little bit. And do the same. And do the same the other orientation here. Maybe both together. That's going to be a bit tighter now. Let's try the other one. So here's the other one. So let's just stick them back in here, because you know what, we can't really do anything else with them. They look alright, don't they? So, I'll try and get this right way around now. It's just a switch, so it doesn't matter which order we put these in. Yeah, the clippy bit towards the top. That's it, you had that clip. And the other one, let's just wind that one out a little bit. Clippy bit towards the top. That's it. So they're holding in place. I can obviously twist it again like that if I wanted to. So let's just give that another try. Let's put it like that. Flip it on. Switch it on. Nothing. This is the thing. This is driving me nuts, this thing. And then we got it again. It's like, what is going on? I'm thinking it's not that. I'm thinking it's actually the mains thing at the back. So I'm thinking it could be the crimping here, so I am just adding, as you can see I've done that one, a tiny bit of solder at the point where the wires come out here. I'm thinking this is the issue, and this is why I don't like crimped cables, certainly mains cables that are crimped, because they oxidise over time. Just get some tiny bit of heat and solder there. I want it to flow onto that, the bit of wires, just sort of there. Obviously we don't want tons and tons and tons of solder here, or it will interfere with the actual connector. There we go, that'll do. Wet finger. Wet finger. So hopefully I haven't got any solder into it where it stops actuating. I can test that now. But I'm thinking that might be the issue, because you know what? The metal surfaces are alright on both sides, and this is the weird thing with this. Unless us pressing here, just moving this, is not the actual issue, and maybe it is something else around here, but the solder points are solid all around there. Under magnification, they look brand new. Anyway, let's see if these will still go on. Yeah, that'll still go on. And that'll still go on. So, I think that's the last time I'm taking those out. Let me just tighten them up on the wings. If this doesn't work, I swear, I'm going to lose my mind. Let's switch it off. Oh, that's off. Plug it in. Switch it on. I think that's not working again. I think that's not working again. Is it that, or is it something else? I don't know. I wonder if the wire's damaged here somehow, you know. But then every time I measure it on the meter, it measures alright. I mean, like if I measure this now, it's unplugged, switch it on. off rather. If I measure from, I don't know, here, like this. This is what I don't get. I'm having the most difficult time with this power supply, I tell you. I've never struggled so much. It's driving me nuts. Completely nuts with the capital N. I'm now just going to resolder the power connector, because, I don't know, I'm out of ideas. It's beyond belief. I was thinking, it's the wire. Well, I don't think it is the wire, because the wire measure's good. I'll show you in a minute. I'm just heating here for an extended period of time on both these. And that will ultimately heat up the pins here, and I can try and clean those with some contact cleaner anyway. But the thing is, right, no matter how this is orientated, those are the 2 points here of the switch, right? Switch is on. Yeah? It doesn't matter how you position this wire. Hang on. Oh, it does. No, it doesn't. What does it? Hang on. The switch is always on. So it's not the wire. Yeah? That's what I don't get. Yeah, when you put this on the table here, right, and I'll just show you, I think, if we measure from the switch to the fuse, join, yeah, the other side of the switch to the fuse, join, so the live is all connected there, yeah, yeah, I'm sure, and I'll just do it this way around as well, because this is the way it usually is on the bench. Let's just try it again, just to make sure the switch is still connected to the fuse. It is, on both sides. Yeah, so the switch is on, yeah, that's right, so the live is going across the switch. Now the only thing I've just done, if it does spring to life, is reflow the power connector, and switch it off. Carefully push that in, switch it on. Right, I'll measure voltage. Nothing. Yeah, and just press near the power connector here. Hang on. There we go, got voltage. I don't get it. I don't get it. I honestly do not get what is going on here. Because I see no dry joints anywhere. Yeah, it's a single-sided board. The traces look okay. It's beyond explanation, this. So it isn't to do with the switch connection here at all, but pressing here influences it. And we'll have another look under the microscope. I cannot see any issues anywhere around here. So, I don't know, maybe a wire on the choke, maybe? Don't know, like, I thought, is that short in there? No, it's not. Is there anything else short in here? No, it's not. I don't know, this is really weird. I have never seen anything like this in all my life. Could it be no, because we measured from here. The fuse was connected. Let's get the microscope back down again. Can't believe how many hours I have spent f***ing around with this power supply. The crazy thing is, I ordered another one because I thought I was going to have to measure that off another board, but it was thanks to Palmer that we were able to find, you know, what size component that was, and the 22 nanofarad seems alright. So yeah, looking at the microscope here, let's start with the power connector up here. Right, so we've just reflowed that, yeah, live and neutral. I'm looking for damaged traces as well, you know, like in case there's a tear. But if you just look around here, everything looks absolutely immaculate. Now that's the switch connector, which we know is joined to the fuse. So it can't even be those solder points because the live is going through the switch and making it through the fuse. Yeah? Could it be one of these? Well, I don't see how. And again, the traces, they look fine. They look good as new. Now granted, we've got some tape here over these things. I don't know, I'm absolutely at a loss with this. Could it be one of these diodes here? Like, you know, there's not very much solder there, is there? Let me bring that in. I've got to try and not give myself a shock here. Could it be that? Or one of these? I don't know, they don't move. I'm not seeing any splits. What about this transistor? Again, the solder is a bit dry, maybe. You know, it's kind of dull, isn't it? But some of this is like optical illusion, like you rotate it around another way and it looks alright. Maybe it is that. I don't know, let's just reflow it anyway, because, well, I don't know, I'm just doing guesswork here now. I've tried everything so far. You see, I was coming back to the choke, wasn't I? The choke, right? But the thing is, you measure the connections under the choke, and they're alright. So, how can it be the choke? This is the thing, whatever you think, you can rule it out in no time. I mean, maybe what I should do is just follow the voltage while it's on. I don't like measuring power supplies when they're on, if I'm honest. Too many bad experiences of things exploding. Yeah, that could have been the bad connection there, because you know what, it didn't look right, did it? Yeah, I need to clean around in a minute. So let's just have a look around, see if there's anything else like that. That diode, let's just do those two diodes there, get the bleeding things out of the way. I'd rather add just a bit too much solder than the way they are. And even though that one looks alright, let's just reflow it anyway. Do the same on this side. It doesn't make any sense. This is where the split was originally in this board, years ago. But like, how is that causing an issue? It can't be, and we know that this here is definitely not the issue. I've even measured the power connector from here to the actual pins. I don't get this. There must be some clue on the top side here. Like, I don't know, I see a wire link there. Hang on. But again, when we look at the solder points on the underside, the solder points all look immaculate. I don't know, let's just try it again, but this is what's been going on with this though. I just go round and round and round. Can't make any sense. On. See, I don't hear any mains across that. And when I say mains, I'm talking about just like a little arc, you know, a little click or something, is it? Or engages. I'm not hearing that. Which makes me think that the stuff up here is doing nothing, it's not drawing anything. If I now measure there again, switch it on. Nothing. Nothing at all until press on that. There we go, 3.4 volts. Right, let's test from the mains lead. Let's do that. So we've got, I can test, I might be able to test both these connections straight to the bridge, I don't know. Yeah, so live and neutral are getting all the way to the bridge. Yeah, there's a point here where it looks kind of, the PCB looks just marginally raised around it. Like maybe it's detached. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe the transformer's damaged the PCB with the weight of it. Let me put you on the microscope. If that is the issue, it's been extremely hard to find. And what's even more mysterious is how it worked for so many years this way. Yeah, that's the one there. Is that the issue? That looks quite clear to me now I think about it. Or is it just flux? Where are we now? Here. Let me measure on connectivity, just to see, do we have a beep to whatever trace that's on. So it's, what is it? It's here, and it's on the same trace as this. Really, is that it? It is, it's that, isn't it? You've got a question now, how the hell has that happened? How the hell have we got this issue here? And maybe I'm imagining things, but I don't know, I see a ring around it, so you know what, I'm thinking that's it. I am thinking that capard is detached entirely from here. Just by extending it like this, I can just add some solder all the way around it and join it up on its circumference. But I tell you what, in all my years of working on things, I've never seen, and I still don't believe it, I still don't think that's it. I'm not going to be convinced until that starts working. If that starts working reliably, then I'll believe it. But how? Oh look, there we go, the pad's moving, look, that's it. That is it. Oh my god, now I believe it. The issue here though is, there you go, trying to heat the circumference. And then do this all the way around it. Now I will extend with a wire in a bit, like a wire that goes, you know, out here and out there, just to make sure that that's solidly joined on all around. But I think if I manage to heat the actual, there you go, expanding bit around it, it should just join back up again. Got a lot of flux on it, so it makes it quite hard to measure. I think that's it. But what I will do is I will scratch off here, and scratch off here, and then just have like a bit of wire, a bit of wire, a bit of wire, to secure that, because, well, that's just a bodge blob of solder right now. I wouldn't leave it like that. That has taken me all afternoon and an hour or two this evening to work out. I guess we can put the switch back together again, can't we? For the 4th time, I think. Right, I've moved you over there. Volts DC. Switch, hang on, switch off. Switch is off. Switch it on. Right, it's off now. Let me just connect this up. And all being well, we should see, yeah, look, the voltage is dropping, it's off. Switch it on. Yay! It's fixed. That was it. That was it. Let's just check the other voltages. So we should have 5 volts on the second pin and 12 volts on the end pin. That's it. I actually think the voltages are better now as well. I think that might be to do with that cap that was cremated on the underside of it. So maybe it did have some issues, because there were the odd joint that kind of looks a bit dry. Anyway, I'm now going to reinforce, switch it on and off, reinforce the points on that transformer, clean off the flux, give it one final toothbrush on the underside. We'll fit the replacement ceramic when that arrives. For the moment, just going to leave that there. And we'll see if the Dreamcast works again. Yeah, I'm sure I could have done a cleaner, tidier job than that. But there's like a wire that goes across there, join, you know, the thing to the pad, so over here. And a little bit down there as well. So, and it is a huge giant blob. I could have joined like a wire over here, a wire down there. There's lots of different ways of doing it. That's just the way I've opted to do this. I might revisit it later. Yay. Yeah, so maybe the Dreamcast is dead. Or maybe it needs the drive. I don't know, I'm sure I've powered these up before without a drive. Anyway, let's get a drive on and try it. Yeah, there you go, you do need a drive. And it's lost the time and date settings because obviously I had the board out. Right, I set the time and date, so I'll put a disc in the drive, close the switch, let's see if it's working. So the crazy thing is, what I was actually doing was trying to fix the reliability issues with the drive. So I'm now going to need to test that for half an hour, just to see, can it run through the demo for half an hour? If it can't, then I haven't fixed anything, and today has been a complete waste of time. I still don't know how that issue's happened with the transformer. It makes no sense to me. I haven't dropped it, but it did come in a smashed up state when it came to me originally. I'll talk about that more in a minute. So let's try a real disc, because I'm getting nowhere with Dream Shell. It's driving me nuts. This is it's a treasure game, isn't it? Ikaruga. Came out with some great games, Treasure, across different platforms. I think there are some good ones on the Game Boy Advance, from what I remember. Well, the visuals are incredible. I've got force feedback here, the controllers going nuts. Wow, it's very cool that. Do you collect those little things? I think you do. I think there's two different. I remember playing this on the Game Boy Advance. Yeah, there's a Game Boy Advance version of this. I've just fired a special weapon. There is something you can do, like a sweep or something that goes round your craft. Unless I'm thinking of Radiant Silver Gun, I might be thinking of that. I'm just pressing the different buttons here. Yeah, there's one to change between like light and dark, and I don't know what the aim of that is, what the point of that is. And now those, yeah, they are enemy bullets. You don't collect them. There's me going around collecting the bullets. I think you can collect the ones the same colour. That's how it works, isn't it? So like, you know, yeah, dark ones go to the dark shield, and the white ones go to the white shield, I think. You see what I mean? Like those can't because I'm white, but we've got light and dark, so you've got to be a bit tactical. Playing so badly. I'm sure many of you guessed that I was going to be playing this game on here from Bitmap Bureau. I can't remember how this compares. Like, does it compare to the Mega Drive of the Neo Geo? Oh, we got speech, so it compares more to the Neo Geo version.
We have no time to lose, Lieutenant. Dispatch a squad of our finest Marines.
I bought this, by the way, on the Dreamcast, but I bought the ISO, so I don't have an actual disc for this one. It's like I had to burn my own disc from the licensed ISO. So you can do that if you don't want to spend the full amount on a packaged game. Certainly better when it's fully packaged.
Make your selection.
It's interesting to see how this is with the controller, actually. You really want a twin stick for this. But we have got the 4 buttons there. Maybe I can use... Yeah, you can use the 4 buttons as like a virtual second stick, so that's not bad. Yeah, with a little bit of practice you can get really good with that control mechanism. Yeah, and the right trigger obviously rolls there. I'm guessing the left one does a grenade. Yeah, it's a really nice control mechanism there. I'm struggling to get the words out. Actually, calling me impressed. I think the Dreamcast has got the best control mechanism in this game so far. Oh, no bullets. Stuck on the doors. Oh. Oh. I walked them into everything here. to die here. Way too many hits. There we go. Despite the fact I was saying the control mechanism on that game using one of these is pretty good, and it is, but yeah, blade crap. Right, let's try something else. Yeah, this is one of my favourite games on the Dreamcast, and well, I'm sure it's going to be the favourite on many people's list actually for Dreamcast. Shenmue. Yes, I mean it's not really aged very well by today's standards in terms of 3D animation, you know, 3D rendering and all that sort of stuff, the actual graphics engine. It's good for the time though.
I'm alright, but Hazuki-sensei,
My father. Father! Stay back, Bill. For the last time, where is the mirror? I've no intention of telling you.
It's really cool. They did really well with like the effects that were available there to make that look quite cool. The blur sort of effect that happens when they're moving really quick. Skip that if we can. I don't think we can.
Never tell.
Got to watch the whole thing, I think. A bit of Giga Wing 2 here. This is insane. It's like, talk about bullet hell. This is just nuts. Like, just look at how many bullets come down here. And all of the collectible things just to come on as well. It's worse when you get different coloured bullets, like the orange ones and stuff on top of all the blue ones. It's crazy. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but, well, it's like struggling to see where I am now. There's that many things on the screen, there's too much stuff. It's just like, how is anybody ever good at this game when it's bullet hell so bad? Definitely nice graphics and nice music though. It's a Capcom game, this. And as I said, this is Giga Wing 2. I think Giga Wing 1 was on the Dreamcast as well. Oh, flew straight into that. Yeah, I mean, look, it's like all these collectibles on top of all the bullets, and you're like, your eyes just get thrown completely. It's way too much to look at. It's moving. Didn't need to do that. Just held down the fire button. Launched my special attack on it, I think. And I think when you hold that down, it sucked the bullets in. I could be wrong. I seemed like invulnerable for a period of time when it was orange like that. Oh, just crashed into something again. I mean, graphically it's amazing, but, well, I'm not sure that's really my cup of tea, that game, because I don't think I'd ever get off the first level without losing a single life. Yeah, I'm just playing a bit of Dino Crisis here. I'm trying to get into that, and I do enjoy it. I'll show you that damage. So there was, when I received this like 12 years ago, this here was split. So I managed to super glue that back in, and yeah, you can see it. You can see there's an imperfection there, but that was literally the only damage, and you can see it looks good as new. And it was always good as new in terms of the laser. It just performed better than any of the Dreamcasts that came my way. And I've got another one of these that I got. The other one was £5, and it looks just as good as this one. And again, seems unused. That one's in storage with my keyboard and everything. I'd like to get the broadband thing. You can see here it's had a bit of a dink there. That's the only other damage to this. I might just get a bit of plastic polish on that to give it a clean. But yeah, there's a couple of little marks sort of chipped out of that. But yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and I've also got a bunch more VMUs here, and I think I've got some of these again in the loft. There was a time when you could buy these for like £2 or £3 each in boxes, brand new, and I bought a load of them, all the different colours. So I've got, you know, green, black, that one. Put the green cap, because the green one's in the controller at the moment there. They're so cool. The Dreamcast was an amazing system. And then I've also got, at some point, I don't know if it can fit this or not. I think I showed this on that video from like 12 or 13 years ago, when the channel first aired. We've got a Xilinx CPLD here. It's an XC9536. And obviously it's just got 4 wires. DC mod version 3. It seemed like a good idea getting this time, and in retrospect I'm like, but what is there to mod with it? What does this do? I don't know, because there's no copy protection. I assume it's region. I don't know. Post comments down below if you know more about that. But yeah, I could fit it at some point. Yep, I can't remember where I was in the game now. This is the thing, you know, when you play a game like this and then you don't play it for a while. You can't remember what you were doing. You don't remember the level layout or anything. These Capcom games were so cool though, like the Resident Evil ones. I know some people don't get on with the tank controls and stuff. I just love them. It's not quite as good as the Resident Evil games. They're better in my mind. Yeah, and again, cool for VMU usage. It shows me 9mm, my ammo count, and the vitality bar there. Very cool. So yeah, a crazy long video. Hopefully I didn't send you to sleep. It's super reliable now in terms of, you know, drive. There's no resets, no freezes, no nothing. It's just perfect. I did get a second PSU, as you can see here. And yeah, this one, I think it's identical to the other one. Yeah, it is. You can see the component there. And I did replace it. I did it off camera, just because I felt the video was getting a bit long. I removed some of the excess solder on the various points where I'd added extra solder, you know, cleaned it all up with a toothbrush. It looks brand new. You'd think it was factory. You'd never guess all the trauma, apart from the point where, well, on the transformer, it's somewhere up here, wasn't it, where I ended up, you know, extending it a bit. You can tell there it's had a repair. But it was recapped, and yeah, I haven't used it that much, you know, maybe 100 hours, 200 hours, you know. I played Resident Evil Code Veronica all the way through it. Yeah, this one would need recapping. I mean, a few of the caps there are marked with black dots, but those are the original ones. They did have Panasonics on, I think, from factory. But I recapped the one that's in my Dreamcast here. And thanks to Palmer for taking his Dreamcast apart and measuring that capacitor there. And just looking at the one here, you know, you can see it's like a white sort of... It's got a bit of a yellow tint to it because it's got flux, but my guess is it's like a polyester or something. As soon as you heat that area with hot air, if you were to reflow, and I didn't film that bit, but that's what happened. I reflowed around here, didn't pay attention to that before I reflowed it, and then afterwards you saw what it looked like. It just melts. It melts really easy. I couldn't find the exact schematics for that model of power supply because there's a number of different variants. You know, and the obvious thing which we didn't really, you know, cover in detail, I didn't explain, but you've got 3.3 volts up here, 5 volts, and then a bunch of grounds and 12 volts on the end. So it's very easy to measure your voltages there. If you get one of these, you know, picking one up and you want to, you know, protect it moving forward, replace the caps. You know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electrolytics there. Well worth swapping those out. You saw how we cleaned these things here, and the grinding pen worked quite well. I did the same thing on here off camera, but you know, we did that on the you know, the main switch connector. Yeah, those grinding pens, as long as you don't push it in too far and you have a very fine tip on the end, you can just push it in and move left, right, push it in, left, right, and then as you inspect it afterwards, you can see that it bends back up, you know, because the tip of the thing is just, it's as fine as that, really. It's like a pinpoint. So that's a really nice way of cleaning those up, making those more reliable. But the issue I had was that solder, well, a few solder points, I think, making me have connection, not a connection, a connection, not a connection. And it wasn't just like I had no power. We got to the no power situation towards the, you know, the start of the repair of this, but before that, it was really intermittent until I did all the things I did to the power supply here. it was, you know, not reading discs reliably. As soon as I did that stuff, solid, absolutely solid. And I was able to increase the resistance on the potentiometer back up to where I think it originally was, you know, where it reads burnt discs fine and it reads GD-ROMs fine, and the laser voltage is lower than it would have been at the factory, if you see what I mean. So I, you know, adjusted it in such a way that that laser is having an easy life at the moment. When we get back to the GD-ROM series, you know, because there'll be one more part of that, I think, I'll look at the RF test pad as well, and that's obviously one way to dial in the laser voltage a little bit easier, but you don't really need to do it, and it's a bit fiddly because you've got to have wires coming out of the inside of the drive, you know, everything's like encapsulated in the shielding there, isn't it? You can't get around that. I do hope you found that interesting. If you'd like to support the channel, please see the Ko-fi and Patreon links down below. This channel wouldn't be able to continue if it wasn't for the support I've had. I'm so sorry on the delay editing this video. There was a lot of footage to edit, and I'm in that kind of situation at the moment where I've got loads and loads of videos to edit, and every one of them is like, you know, 2 or 3 days of editing on top of everything else I'm trying to do in life, and my health has just been awful. But I am trying to catch up at the moment, so just bear with me. There'll be a load of extra content on the extra channel going up as well, like maybe several videos, one after the other every day of the week kind of thing. I've got a load of stuff to push to the extra channel, as well as you know, the main channel here. But we've got some repairs coming up. If you've been missing repairs, we do have some repairs coming up. I've got a BBC Model B, a Master, a Commodore Plus 4, I think, to look at. We've got a bunch of Commodore 64s. I've got some Spectrum stuff coming up, a bunch of Mega Drives, a bunch of PlayStations, some PlayStation 2 stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of the repair and upgrade stuff coming as well. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video.